the Lord instructs us to not judge according to what we see, not to judge and make judgments according to what we hear or what we think or what we believe. God gave me a message in the last video, and He did it in such a way that you would have to try and use your imagination to come out with sarcasm. Uh, There is no way God intended sarcasm of any kind. To make fun out of people is not what He does. What He intended to use that message for was to show all of us how easily it is to be deceived, the troubles and the traumas that can happen to us from us misunderstanding or not understanding, and actually, more than anything, the communication that we have with Him. That when we talk to Him, we can have not an audible voice, but an impression. And so in the video, when I talked to Him and I'd say, oh, it's because He would speak to me and He would say, well, this, and this. And I would say, oh, so that's where. But you see, you saw it as sarcasm because you didn't hear Him speaking. I did. You saw it as something else because you are in the place of judging other people according to what you see with your eyes and hear with your ears. And what you need to be is you need to be in a place where you don't judge anybody. Because you might walk by somebody and hear them say a prayer, and they may be praying, and you might not understand that prayer at all, and walk away and go whisper to somebody else, they're praying this way. Just like somebody just recently talked about death and destruction, that can very possibly happen anywhere, anytime, anyway. And if you're on the wrong path in life and you're doing the wrong things for what the nation could be, then you would speak of those things. That would be on your mind, your biggest concern. As a leader, that would be on your mind. But those who come by and listen and go, oh, this person is doing that and that. Oh my goodness, how terrible that they would promise death and destruction. Well, you know what? The Bible actually says indignation and wrath upon every soul that does evil. So, the measuring stick for what is evil is actually written in the Bible. It's not your measuring stick and it's not mine. It's not what I believe that's important. It's not what you believe it is important. It is what He said it is. And He said, indignation and wrath upon every soul that does evil. Well, you have to question and ask yourself, what is evil? Is evil selling body parts of babies? Ask yourself, is that evil? Well, you can say they have no proof. But then see the people that they are uh, actually taking to court now, they have no proof. They only say they have evidence, but because you judge according to what you hear and according to your own eyes, and because of what you think and what you believe, you've already judged and condemned them. And the scripture says, judge not lest ye be judged, because with the judgment you meet, it'll be measured unto you again. Now, I sit here and I speak the truth to you. When I speak a truth, it literally comes and visits me and checks me out if I'm in the truth. Because you see, I'm giving and expounding the truth, so the truth has to come back here. Well, it's the same thing with your judgment. You judge somebody, and that judgment comes right back on you. And when it comes on you, you make this one to blame, that one to blame, and this happened because of so and so, and this happened, and maybe it happened because of my past deeds. But you don't look. You know, when you that mirror that you look in where you see through a glass darkly, and it's going to be dark until you see face to face. It's because you haven't believed the word that says don't touch that judgment. You have no right to judge that man. But you see, all of these opinions that are fed to you daily, they are nothing more than opinions. Look up the word opinion. and see what that means. That is not news, and that is not a truth. That is, if a person comes out and says, God gave me this message and he told me this, he told me to say this. Okay. And they come out and they do that. That is a message straight from the Lord. No matter who gives it, they say, you know, God will test that. You will see whether it's coming from God or not. Very few, as evil as they are, dare to defy God enough to say, well, he told me that this guy is no good. The Lord revealed to me that this guy is, because it's a lie. You see, if you do that to someone else, it'll be done to you. It's a promise. It's the absolute do unto others as you want them to do unto you. Jesus taught stuff like that. He taught that if you don't give this one the benefit of the doubt, at least, then you're never going to get the benefit of the doubt. Read it in Psalm 18. With the merciful, he reveals himself to you mercifully. Mercy this way comes back this way. When you have mercy and feelings for everybody else but your own in this nation, when you have feelings and no, I gotta put this. My mouse hasn't been working right, and I touched a button that put my magnifier on, and I had to get it off. That's why I hit pause. But anyway, what I'm saying to you is God's real. He's not dead. He's not sleeping. He's not unawares. And what he wants us to be more aware of is the mistakes we're making, the things we're doing wrong. Now, that communication with God is a very real reality for me. That's the way I communicate with him all the time. He'll speak to me and I'll answer. And if my answers are wrong, that's the way I would react. But it's been many, many years since my answers have been wrong because he corrects me now before I do anything wrong in front of him. Or even, well, he's everywhere. But he he has such a tight clasp on me, a tight hold that, if you're real close to somebody and they're thinking about doing this, you stop them immediately. No, no, don't go that way. I have found this out in training horses and animals that, like the horse, when they when they when you're on their back and their ears are straight up, they're thinking only about you. They're concentrating on what you taught them, and they're straight up. But when one turns this way or the other one turns that way, and their eyes between go, they're losing concentration on what you're teaching them, and you have to stop that before they do it. You have to anticipate them because they are under your dominion, your control. God's given you that wisdom, so you have the power to do that. You could do the same thing when you're training an animal for their borders. Just before they get to that border, you say no. And my dog will literally turn around and come back. They'll come out of that spot because I said no. And she'll just literally, because she's very well trained. I know exactly. I don't have to scream and yell. No, I don't have to. But there are times where somebody comes down along the road and she sees another dog. She goes crazy. And that she's in the process of training to stop that. But when you are being, let's say, trained with God to learn how to hear his voice, your thoughts will go this way and God will bring you and say, no, no. And he'll bring to your understanding and everything, revelation and stuff. And what he was showing me and showing you during that video, it wasn't sarcasm. It wasn't because he's making fun out of you. And when you see me laugh, I'm not laughing at people. I have never once laughed at people, and God knows it because He knows my heart. I have laughed at the enemy and the ignorance and the stupidity that he has, that he thinks he can keep you or he can destroy me. And that is very funny to me. So it has nothing. So when you see me laughing, you think, oh, she's laughing at those people. No, I'm not. Oh, no, I am not. When I look at the camera and I say, is that all you got? I'm not saying that to a person. I'm saying it to the enemy that's trying to use them. It's amazing to me how easy it is to misjudge someone, to misunderstand, to and to listen to the wrong things. The message is totally lost because someone said sarcasm. As soon as they brought that up, that everybody's mind went out of the message and went into, and that's why a lot of times I just remove comments because the message that God wants to give to enable a soul to see the truth, to help them get out of where they're at, is destroyed by someone who wants to get their specific answers, someone who wants to tell you off, someone who wants to correct you and teach you when they don't even know what they're talking about, someone who wants to do all of these things with you because they want to be seen, they want to be understood, they want to be heard. And therefore, they they will say things. Now, I don't think that this person that used the word sarcasm did that deliberately. I think they made a mistake and used the wrong word. It was not sarcasm. It just I never do that to anybody. I would not mock and make fun out of anybody because you see, God is not mocked. Whatsoever you sow, you reap. So if you sow corruption, you're going to reap corruption. If you sow judgment, you're going to reap judgment. If you sow lies, you're going to be lied on. If you cheat, you're going to be cheated on. If you betray, you're going to be betrayed on. If you destroy, you're going to be destroyed. That's the way life is. That's the way he made it. That's the way he can keep everything in order. So if I give a picture of what people look like while they're talking to God, and that picture is he really goes, okay, like, where will I go? What will I do? I don't have anything right now. I can't go to God because I've already rejected him. And I did the worst. I mean, when I rejected him, I know what trampling on the blood is. I know what the word says. I can't do that. Well, I'll call 911 because I know somebody's coming after me right now and I got to do something. I've got to do something to stop them. I don't have a gun. It was taken off of me. I don't have anything to protect myself. It was all taken off of me. I have no way to reach anybody to help me. So I guess I'll call 911. And I forgot. They defunded the police and they won't come. So when I'm real sick and I'm half dead and you don't dial 911 because you need an ambulance, well, they won't come because no longer do they take care of you the way they used to. They have different orders even in the hospitals. Uh, I know of one nurse that quit being a nurse when they were told how to handle the elderly. It's a very dangerous thing because not all doctors believe the way they used to believe. They believe that, hey, you're older now, it's time for you to go. And they forget one day they're going to be old. They all forget. And why laugh? Because I am telling you, you've got to understand what you give is going to come back on you. What you do is going to happen to you. So if you have no mercy in your heart whatsoever for that little girl or little boy that's being mutilated because their parents think they need a change, guess what? You may find yourself mutilated. I, I'm not trying to scare you. But boy, I tell you, the fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom. A good understanding have all they that fear the Lord. And that is the truth. I cannot say that too often because you have never been taught that. You have been taught that if it doesn't comfort you, it's not God. No, my friend, no. He says, rebuke and exhort with all long suffering. Why? Because the time will come they will only listen to those that tickle their ears. Why, everything's going to be all right. You don't have to concern yourself about a thing until the day everything that you sowed into corruption, into helping people to do these evil things by voting them into office, all of that is going to come back on you. Oh, you think, well, I'm going to keep this one. You know how he this and he that. Hey, I'm going to tell you what. He'll be safe. He'll be sitting safe while you got a problem. You know why? Because you have no right to judge him or anybody. Now, if you see the evidence proves that they're mutilating children. The evidence proves that some governors say it's okay to kill a baby after 7 days. They don't call that murder. It's a mother's decision. She's allowed to kill him after 7 days. That is outright murder. But you don't see that. You listen to what you've been told. Well, fear will do a lot of things to people. There are countries who the state tells them everything, what to eat, what to drink, what to feel, what to believe, what to everything. And if you don't do it, they take you away. I rest my case on being taken away because there'd be nobody to help you. It's been done before. It's been done when that first thing that monster in Germany did was he took away their protection, their guns, so he could march them in droves anywhere he wanted to go. That's why it's so important to for them to get rid of your guns and for you to keep them. Because if you have a gun inside your own home, not anybody's just going to tramp through it. So if you want to say that I'm being sarcastic and I did this, that's your business. Have at it. You won't hurt me. You won't stop me. You won't destroy me. You won't even cause me to do one thing except pray for you and ask God with all my heart to lead you and guide you into the truth so that you could make the right decisions, so that nobody could ever hurt you, so that none of these things will come upon you. That's all I'm after. And that's all God is after. My mouse is just going crazy.